a pretty solid week for the Canadians, and great that all four Canucks made the cut at Oakmont, which is awesome. And Mark, I want to start with Nick Taylor because it's another very solid week. We know what he did at the Memorial, the RBC Canadian Open as the low Canadian, and this is a bit of a change for Nick Taylor, right? Because yes, he has those five PGA Tour victories, but prior to this season, it was really feast or famine where he was still missing a bunch of cuts despite getting those wins.
Yeah, I don't think we can say that anymore, guys, about Nick Taylor, about how, either has his A+ game and is threatening to win, or he's packing his bags Friday. I mean, he's only missed three cuts all season, and he's got multiple top tens. He's got, ties for 12th. He's really like played a new level of consistency for Nick. Statistically speaking, he's good in a lot of categories, ball striking categories, but I don't think this is anything mechanical. I don't think it is a ball striking thing. I think it's a comfort level. I think it's a sense of belonging. I think he expects to be at majors now, expects to be in signature events, feels like he should be there, belongs there. And I think it's a comfort level now with Nick that is different than a Nick Taylor from, a year ago, 2 years ago, certainly 5 years ago. So it's really, really nice to see.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Mark. It's a confidence thing. He's always had a great game. He was a great amateur. We forget he was the number one ranked amateur in the world during those days back way back when. And I think if you look at just the way he carries himself on the golf course now, he works pretty hard at it. I think, and I just feel that success breeds success, if that makes sense. And we talked, and you saw, in the interviews. I asked most of the Canadians, is it time now that we sort of stop congratulating ourselves just for being in the majors? It's time now, they're being competitive. And you look what, Corey Connors at the Masters and Taylor Pendrith at the PGA and now Nick at this one. He stumbled a little bit coming down the stretch, but I think that was fatigue and perhaps a little bit of, okay, this course is winning. I just want to get home right now. So those things to me, though, say that the Canadians are as good as they've ever been. We've talked about this a lot on this show, but I really do think when it's major championships now that they are legitimate chances to win.
It's great to see so many Canadians week in, week out in the mix on all tours. And speaking of Nick Taylor, 12th in strokes gain approach this season, 24th in strokes gain total. Now, before we go to break, Bob, I got to ask you about Corey Connors because on Saturday during the third round, he got off to a great start, but come Sunday morning, he was withdrawing from the tournament because of a wrist injury. For those who didn't see, what happened?
Well, he had a ball that was plugged up at the face of the bunker on the 11th hole, and he took a big swing at it and immediately kind of grabbed his hand and he knew he'd done something, I guess, to it. He had previously sort of aggravated it on Thursday's opening round, and the story we got was that he actually hit a wire that was inside the bunker for one of those little micro cams that they have. That one is still a little bit sort of frazzled. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened with that one, but he did immediately hurt his wrist on this shot, and the officials. He went over to talk to the officials. He's allowed some time to sort of get it. There was a Dr. Stuart Love who was there to look at him, but they made him finish his putting. They said you got to finish the hole, then you can take some time to putt. So I think he was in a lot of pain when he did putt, but he did make the putt, believe it or not. And then it was I followed him in, and he seemed to be okay. He was hitting fairways. He was not great, but he was at least getting it in there. And he walked off the 18th green and right into the clubhouse. And reports are that he went for an X-ray. He went for some imaging. We don't know what the seriousness is of what's happening, and we'll have to see if he makes to tee time at Travelers.
Yeah, and it's a super busy time of year, so I wouldn't be surprised if Corey Connors WDs, and we know how important wrists are to your golf swing. So I think this is a good move on Corey Connors to perhaps play it safe and WD from the U.S. Open.